Welcome to the Crazy Happy Podcast. Thank you for dropping in for your dose of crazy happiness and a quick hit of positivity. Welcome to episode 29. I'm your host, Tanya Vetter of TanyaVetter.com. Today's show is being brought to you by Women Empowerment Training Institute, empowering women and youth through engagement and exposure. Happy Thursday, guys. I am calling today Through It All Thursday. I am completely elated to share today's topic with you, and it happens to be a very, very personal. Well, all of the topics are personal to me, but this topic today was really groundbreaking in the journey that I've been on. And so today's topic is, what is alignment and how do I get there? Yep. What is alignment and how do I get there? And today's quote is going to be by Esther Hicks. She says, when you find alignment, the conditions will not matter. I'm going to say that again. When you find alignment, the conditions will not matter. And I can hear some of you saying, well, yeah, that's great. But what in the world is alignment? I thought about today's topic and I thought about one of the questions that I get probably the most when I share my story and the journey I've been on for the last, I think it's going on like about 2 years now. And when I talk about this alignment, the idea of alignment, many of the things that I hear is, okay, so what is alignment? Well, you say you're not going to do anything until you get in alignment. So what is alignment? So I thought it would be beneficial for me to share what alignment is and how do I get there. I think you're going to be surprised at the answer. So number one, what is alignment? Well, it's really simple. Alignment is your guidance system. Some people call it the Holy Spirit. Some people call it the inner being. Some people call it divinity. And the most common term we hear in secular society is normally intuition. So alignment is the guidance system. It's your inner being. It's your intuition. So one way to measure the conversation you're having with yourself, and the one way we really can measure the conversations we're having with ourselves is by identifying whether we are in alignment or out of alignment. Now, here's a common misconception. Some think that alignment means that you're always going to be happy, right? There are no sad days. Well, that's not true. What alignment means is simply that you may have days and you will have days that you are not happy, quote unquote. But it means regardless of the situation, it's not hopeless. I'm going to say that again, because someone needs to hear that. So alignment is your guidance system, and it basically says that, this day may not be the best that I intended for it to be, but I know it's not hopeless because of alignment. So what do I mean by that? Alignment, think of it as a communication system. And I don't know if you realize this or not, but now you can realize it as of today. We have a communication system. Some call it the Holy Spirit, divinity, inner being, infinite intelligence, several names depending on what part of the country you're in, right? But it's all based on the same understanding that we have an inner presence inside of us that is greater than the physical body we stand in, right? And so how does it look when we're out of alignment, right? You can't know about being in alignment if you don't know what it looks like to be out of alignment. So when we're out of alignment, some of the things that we commonly do is complain. We're fearful, we doubt, and we judge others. Those are the most common ways that we get out of alignment, right? And so what are some ways to get in alignment is what I really want to share with you today, because no matter how common the situation is, if we don't like how we're feeling, and that's why I want to bring it to this point, how you feel does make a difference. I know many of us were taught growing up to kind of ignore our feelings, but I want to push back on that that a little bit. And I also want to encourage you not to ignore that. I want you to really be aware of it. That's what I want to say. Be aware of it. Because believe it or not, it's God's way. Infinite intelligence, it's spirit, whatever you call it. I'm going to say God. That's who I relate to. So I'm going to say it's God's way of communicating with us. So it's absolutely important that you don't ignore it. For example, if we are upset or doubtful or fearful or jealous or hopeless, we're going to feel bad because source within us is going to say something completely different. Of course, source is always going to represent and agree with love. And if we're not feeling those things, we're going to feel uneasy because we're out of alignment. So alignment is basically saying what God, source, infinite intelligence, saying what God is saying about you, right? And let me just be honest and transparent for a minute. When I really began on this journey, I was best friends with depression. I mean, I really thought that it was just something that was going to be a part of my life forever. I didn't know what alignment was. I had never even heard about alignment. And when I began to study really, really deeply, I realized that the reason I was so down in despair and so sad and so depressed is because the word depressed, I was pressing down and ignoring what God was saying about me. He was saying I was loved, and I was saying I was less than that. He was saying that I was supported, and I was saying that I was alone. He was saying that that there was more than enough, and I was saying that there was never enough. Okay, and so that's what alignment is about. Those feelings that you feel of discomfort, I'm not talking about when we're trying to do something that's good and we're excited about it and we're uncomfortable because it's not familiar. I'm talking about the discomfort that brings us tremendous sadness, okay? That brings us tremendous fear, that brings us tremendous doubt. That is out of alignment because God is saying something completely different, and that's why we are uncomfortable. So what do I suggest? So I suggest the starting point has to be, without a doubt, is you've got to go in and discover the truth about who you are for yourself. Oftentimes we accept what's been said to us, but what I did personally, it worked for me. This is what I chose to do. I had a deeper desire to know who I was completely. And once I found out who I really am and what I'm made of, oh my God, all bets were off. Like when I found out of the God inside of me, the unlimitedness in me, all bets were off at that point. Like there is nothing you can convince me that I cannot do at this point. But I went and discovered it for myself. So you may be saying, well, okay, what book did you read? Of course I had the Bible. I grew up on that. But I allowed myself to consider other readings as well. One of the books that really explained it to me well from a Western perspective was Discover the Power Within. Discover the Power Within was absolutely groundbreaking because it broke through all of the misunderstandings I had, and I discovered the God and the love within me. I no longer judge myself, and that's where the depression came from, right? So being in alignment is simply saying what source says about you, and you will be uncomfortable if you say anything less than that. And this is what he says about us. He says that we are loved, right? And this is how we're able to love others. But I love when people say treat others the way you want to be treated. I push back on that because I say, you know what? I do believe people are treating others the way they treat themselves. They treat themselves poorly. So guess what? They treat others poorly. But being in alignment means I see myself and I say about myself what source says about me. So guess what? When I interact with you, I see you the same way. Okay? So what is the key here? The key is to find out what the divine is really saying about you and find a way to agree. How can you do that? Pray, get still and meditate. Accept who you are. Be grateful, give to someone else, and reframe what you believe you see. Hey guys, I hope this episode has served you well. Still don't have your dumping ground journal? Why not? Go and grab it at TanyaVetter.com. Guys, you know what tomorrow is? It's Finance Friday, where we talk about all things money mindset matters. I can't wait to chat with you tomorrow. You know what I say, guys. Be light, be love, be in alignment, and be you.